What's up everyone and welcome to Full Mount MMA. Alex Pereira recently shared his thoughts on the controversial ending of the Tom Aspinall vs Ciryl Gane fight at UFC 321. The MMA community has been heavily debating whether Aspinall could have continued after suffering multiple eye pokes that led to the fight being waved off. When asked to weigh in, Pereira offered a balanced perspective, recognizing the complexity of the situation. He noted that while Aspinall didn't appear to be performing at his best before the stoppage, fighters have come back from difficult moments in the past to change the course of a fight. Pereira emphasized that some fans accusing Aspinall of exaggerating the injury are being unfair. According to him, it's impossible to truly judge how severe the damage was unless you're the one experiencing it. He explained that one of the pokes seemed to go deep into the eye, while the other landed from a different angle, making it unclear how much each affected Aspinall's vision. Pereira concluded that only Aspinall knows how compromised he truly was inside the octagon. Pereira also highlighted that Aspinall has consistently proven himself as one of the most dominant heavyweights in the division, often overwhelming his opponents with skill and composure. Therefore, to suggest that he would deliberately quit doesn't align with his track record or mentality as a fighter. Daniel Cormier also weighed in on the situation, offering his own experience as a comparison. Cormier recalled his trilogy fight against Stipe Miocic, where he suffered a serious eye poke but chose to continue fighting despite losing vision in one eye for the rest of the bout. He admitted that he kept fighting because he knew it was likely his last time in the octagon, but emphasized that his situation was very different from Aspinall's. Cormier explained that Aspinall's priority was to protect his health and career, especially as a reigning champion with many future opportunities ahead of him. Cormier urged fans to give Aspinall some grace, noting that it's easy to criticize from the outside but difficult to understand what a fighter feels in that moment. Both Pereira and Cormier's comments highlight the fine line between toughness and safety in MMA, and how every fighter must make split-second decisions that could impact the rest of their career. Max Holloway has expressed strong interest in a potential fight with Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. Following Oliveira's impressive win at UFC Rio, he called out Holloway, and the current BMF champion responded by saying he would gladly accept the challenge. This potential matchup has excited fans, especially since the two fighters share a history that dates back nearly a decade. Their first encounter took place in 2015, a fight that ended abruptly when Oliveira suffered an injury early in the first round. At the time, it was reported that Oliveira had sustained a tear in his esophagus, but later medical reports suggested that no serious injury was ever found. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Holloway not only confirmed his willingness to fight Oliveira again but also made a subtle jab at how their first meeting ended. He stated that this is the fight he truly wants and that it's a matchup fans have been anticipating. Holloway pointed out that there are only a few fighters in the UFC today who embody the spirit of the BMF title, and he considers Charles Oliveira one of them. Facing a respected opponent with whom he already shares unfinished business is something that motivates him deeply. Holloway explained that the story surrounding their first fight has always been tied to the alleged injury, and he wants to settle that narrative once and for all. Holloway emphasized that this fight would be meaningful not only because of their shared past but also because both fighters have continued to build their legacies since then. Oliveira has become one of the most dangerous and respected lightweights in UFC history, while Holloway has consistently proven his durability and skill against elite competition across multiple divisions. Holloway also addressed the controversy around the 2015 bout, clarifying that after Oliveira was examined by doctors, no clear injury was ever confirmed. He believes that the time has come to revisit that unfinished chapter and determine the real outcome between them inside the octagon. In closing, Holloway praised Oliveira for his accomplishments and acknowledged his toughness, but made it clear that he is ready to defend his BMF title against him. For Holloway, the fight represents more than just another title defense. It's an opportunity to rewrite history and settle one of the most curious chapters of his career. Dana White recently addressed criticism from fans regarding upcoming UFC events during a live stream with Nina Drama. While engaging with viewers, one fan asked him why the UFC cards scheduled for the following week were considered weak or disappointing. The question seemed to strike a nerve with the UFC president, prompting a blunt and passionate response that quickly drew attention across the MMA community. White questioned how anyone could judge the quality of the events before they had even taken place. He pointed out that fans often make premature judgments based on fight lineups or assumptions rather than waiting to see how the action unfolds inside the octagon. He emphasized that the true measure of a UFC event comes from the fights themselves, not just the names on paper. In his typical straightforward style, White told the fan to hold off on criticism until after watching the event, saying that if the fights turned out to be bad, then feedback would be fair. Until then, he dismissed the complaint as unfounded and told the viewer to shut up and wait before making such claims. This exchange is another example of Dana White's no-nonsense approach when addressing criticism of the UFC. Known for his outspoken personality and direct communication style, White has never shied away from confronting fans or media members who he believes make unfair or uninformed statements. He has repeatedly defended the UFC's matchmaking process, pointing out that many fight cards that initially received backlash ended up delivering exciting and memorable performances. White's comments also highlight his confidence in the fighters and the quality of the organization's events. He often reminds fans that unexpected moments, breakout performances, and thrilling finishes can come from any fight, regardless of whether the participants are top-ranked contenders or newcomers. For him, dismissing an event before it happens disrespects the athletes who train hard to compete at the highest level. Following the clip's circulation online, fans had mixed reactions. Some agreed with White, noting that many criticized cards have surprised audiences, while others felt that his tone was unnecessarily harsh. Still, his message was clear: let the fights speak for themselves. Dana White's fiery defense once again underscored his passion for the sport and his unwavering belief in the UFC's ability to deliver entertainment, no matter the lineup. The UFC continues to deliver major updates across the fight world, from veteran returns to record-breaking business deals. Jorge Masvidal has once again confirmed that he's serious about returning to the octagon. Although no official date has been set, Masvidal made it clear that his goal is to compete on the highly anticipated White House card. Speaking in an interview with Henry Cejudo, Masvidal said he's been training consistently for several months and has already reached out to organizers to secure a spot on the June event. Known for his connection with former President Donald Trump, Masvidal expressed enthusiasm about the historic nature of a UFC card at the White House, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. When asked whether he wanted to fight Leon Edwards, Masvidal said that despite Edwards no longer holding the title, he would still welcome that fight. The two have unfinished business dating back to their infamous backstage altercation in 2019. Masvidal explained that he holds no personal animosity toward Edwards but would like to settle their history in the cage. However, he also added that he's open to facing anyone willing to put on a real fight, emphasizing his excitement to compete again regardless of the opponent. Meanwhile, lightweight contender Marcin Santos has announced a major change in his training camp ahead of his UFC 323 fight against Muhammad Namath. Santos confirmed that he has left Extreme Couture and joined the renowned Brazilian team Fighting Nerds. He explained that the move was motivated not only by training opportunities but also by personal reasons. Santos said he wanted to be closer to his family and his newborn son, adding that being surrounded by fellow Brazilians has brought him a renewed sense of motivation and comfort. In other significant news, the UFC's global expansion continues to grow following the announcement of a new 7-year broadcasting deal worth $7.7 billion with Paramount for U.S. rights. That partnership will now extend to Latin America and Australia starting in 2026. The new deal will give Paramount Plus exclusive UFC media rights across multiple territories, solidifying the organization's presence in international markets. While financial details for the extension were not disclosed, the deal underscores the UFC's dominance in sports media and its ability to attract major global partners. Finally, the UFC has named the thrilling matchup between Jiří Procházka and Khalil Rountree Jr. from UFC 320 as the fight of the month. The bout was a back-and-forth battle that saw Procházka rally from behind to score a dramatic third-round finish. It served as another reminder of why UFC fans continue to tune in week after week. The unpredictable drama and heart displayed inside the octagon remain unmatched. Ronda Rousey has once again made headlines in the MMA world after sharing her thoughts about Dana White and the future of the UFC. After several years of relative silence regarding mixed martial arts, the former bantamweight champion has recently reconnected with the sport. She's been seen training again and has given a series of interviews that have sparked renewed interest among fans. In a recent conversation with comedian Bert Kreischer, Rousey discussed her perspective on Dana White's importance to the UFC and made a bold prediction about what could happen when he eventually decides to step away from the organization. During the interview, Kreischer openly expressed his admiration for Dana White, calling himself a fan of the UFC president. In response, Rousey agreed but took the discussion further by emphasizing just how essential White is to the identity and success of the UFC. She described Dana as the heart and soul of the organization, explaining that without him, the UFC would lose much of what makes it special. Rousey stated that when Dana White is no longer leading, the title of the dominant MMA organization might become available for others to claim. In her words, without Dana, the UFC would just be 3 letters, lacking the passion and personality that have defined it for decades. Rousey also spoke about Dana White's character and the qualities that make him such a powerful figure in combat sports. She expressed deep respect and affection for him, calling him everything fans expect him to be: intense, driven, and unfiltered. She joked about him being a bit of a meathead, but clarified that it's part of what makes him relatable and authentic. According to Rousey, Dana's energy, vision, and refusal to care about public opinion are what fuel his success and make him a one-of-a-kind leader. She praised his ability to stay true to himself while pushing the sport to new heights, saying that his passion and fearlessness are the foundation of the UFC's global dominance. Rousey's remarks resonated with fans, as many agreed that Dana White's leadership has been instrumental in turning the UFC into the powerhouse it is today. Her comments also sparked discussion about what the sport might look like once he eventually retires. For Rousey, Dana White's presence is irreplaceable, and his departure would mark the end of an era for mixed martial arts.